Hey YouTube, how's it going? My fellow YTPC. Get a little housekeeping out of the way. I'm smoking out of my Ozark hardwood, Missouri Meerschaum, and in it I'm smoking River Road. This is my cuz.
Today we're going to debate piping versus vaping.
Housekeeping.
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 Well, today I've got my brand new Pulse Squonk Box by Vandy Vape. It's mechanical, ran directly off the battery, no bells and whistles. And squonking, for those of you who don't know what that is, it means dripping from the bottom. So you've got coils and cotton that go on top of that, which is unlike a traditional style tank or sub-ohm tank. And pretty well is when you're running out of juice, you just kind of squeeze this bottle and see if I can get a close-up of it. Squeeze it, and see juice comes out of that little hole in the center. What that does is that shoots juice into your wick.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, first I'll give y'all a sad update as well as an update. I might have to postpone my giveaway I wanted to do for my 50 sub giveaway or 50 sub plus giveaway. Reason why is because due to my mother's health, I moved back to Indiana. And anyways, in the process of moving stuff, I think I may have lost the painting that I had. And one part of that cause is possibly my own personal negligence and not thinking. Second, it was dark. It was raining by the time we got stuff completely out of the apartment. And, or could also be the person doing the driving. One of the two. All the above. So, I have to say I'm going to have to postpone the 50 sub plus giveaway until I can either find that painting or come close to finding something better or same in value. And also I'm creeping up too on almost 100 subs, and I just like to say to all the new subs out there that are fans, all the new fans, boy, saying subs is such a dirty word. I hate saying subs. I catch myself saying it once in a while and I hate it. I apologize folks for that. Anyways, I'm going to have to postpone the giveaway until I can find that painting and get things sorted out. And to all the new fans that gave me a sub I met, I thank you for subbing and hope you keep watching. And I hope nobody's mad. Now, I am going to say this on record, and my cousin as my witness and the rest of you as witness. No matter which way I go about it, LA Pipe Smoker and 4 Gaming Pipe Smoker are automatically going to be entered in whichever giveaway I do, because thus far they was the only ones that actually participated in the actual original giveaway. So the next giveaway, if I can't find the original item I wanted to use for a giveaway, the next thing I do, they're automatically entered in anyways, because they're the only ones that participated in the original ongoing giveaway. And to LA Piper and Board Gaming Pipe Smoker, I thank you. And anyways, on to the subject title of the video.
Vaping versus piping. Well, there's a couple different downfalls with the types of vaping mods that are on the market. Mechanicals being one of the more dangerous ones, because some people don't understand their battery safety and Ohm's law. Ohm's law, you need to know Ohm's law when you get into stuff of this nature, or even just a regular mechanical, because if you take and build super hot builds, which would be real low resistance, if you know how ohms work, then you'll know what I'm talking about. But you can range from a 3.00 down to a 0.01 being the lowest, and most people get builds that they make builds and they build their coils down to where they are like a 0.09, and that is a hot build, meaning you're going to get immaculate vapor production, and it's for like cloud competitions. And you need to know battery safety and Ohm's law safety, so that way you don't overdo it and burn yourself or hurt yourself, or even worse, catch yourself on fire. Because batteries, if you use them improperly, they could vent, or they could do a thermal runaway. Thermal runaway is where the battery catches on fire and explodes. Venting is where you've overused your battery and drained it too low and it starts oozing. For those of you who don't know, like, batteries and how they work for these take special types of batteries. This is an 18650. It's a 3.7 volt 2500 mAh battery, and this is positive and this is negative side. Where that little white wafer is right there, that is protecting the negative portion of the battery, because the whole battery is negative except for that one positive end that I just showed you. So like if you were to carry a battery in your pocket and you had keys and they jammed in there and touched that battery could vent, or it could do a thermal runaway, because those two simultaneously touched and converted energy together, instead of like how this works. This is the back side of mine, where you've got this copper lead right here that leads down to the negative, or this is the positive. This is the positive, and this is the negative on this. Because this is called a 510 thread underneath this, and this is the negative. So this connects to the positive, and the switch is the negative, and then that's where your switch is at. So you get power to it.
Well, some of the, versus the vape, I think the most, to me, the two most common things that happen with pipe smoking is, one, especially, and I've done this lots of times myself, it's not as dangerous as what it could be, getting your coil too hot, but, the bowl, whether you got meerschaum or you're smoking briar or some other hardwood, if you have a fast cadence, you can either make that bowl real hot and it'll burn your hands to the touch, be just as if touching an ember, or you can actually burn through the bowl, as which can cause a lot of complications, or it could pop, it could possibly crack and split, and a cherry fall somewhere, and catch something on fire. And then the most common thing too is tongue bite.
Yep.
And I don't know if you get tongue bite with those, but I learned one thing. Y'all seen the video of me, taking a few hits off one of those things. Just like with pipe smoking, they'll dry your mouth out, just not as quick as pipe will.
Okay, you guys call that mouth or tongue burn. It is referred to as vapor's tongue to vapors, because you could get to where you burn your tongue, or you lose the ability to taste the juice you're vaping. I've actually had that happen a couple times, and it really, really, really damages like the flavors you can taste, especially if you're like partial to one flavor. Say my favorite flavor of juice is anything blue raspberry, or like the blue slushy flavors. I've actually burnt myself out on those. I've gotten vapor's tongue from it, and I've switched out, and I went to something completely different. This is Peewee Kiwi. It's a strawberry apple kiwi. Super, super sweet. And for those of you who don't know much about vape juice, you've got a VGPG rating for them. So I think the most common, for your lower types of vaping, they've got ego pens, which you'd put 14 milligrams of nicotine, and then with juice, 14 mil nic juice. You use for something like that, and that's for your traditional smoker, someone who actually smokes cigarettes, because they're not used to blowing humongous clouds like what I'm doing right now. I forgot where I was going with that.
You had my occasional randomness there.
Okay, but oh yeah, the VGPG. So that would be like a 50-50 blend of it's like vegetable. Let me find this on here. Can't remember. Vegetable glycerine, and the PG is a propyl glycol or glycol or something of that nature. I can't pronounce it. But the PG is a flavor carrier, and the VG is just a thickener. It's where you get your real thick, dense clouds from. And usually anything higher than a 70 VG, 30 PG, usually doesn't carry very well flavor. But here recently, like this stuff, this is an 80-20 mixture, carries a lot of flavor, and it is super sweet. So usually I've come to notice, like, the sweeter the juice, the more likely you're going to get vapor's tongue, because like I can't really taste it on something like this. But say this is one of our new ones. This isn't mine. This is my wife's, but I'm using it because I didn't charge the battery on my new one, and I broke my tank for my new one too.
Did you eat your other one?
Went and got a Smock Print Stick. It's similar to this, except for
viewer.
It's similar to this, but a lot bigger, and it's more of a flavor carrier, and you can get nice, massive amounts of clouds off of it too. This is why I bought it, because I like clouds. But this is like your regular sub-ohm tank. This is a Stick V8 by Smock or Smoke. It's SMOK. It's commonly referred to as both, but I call it Smock.
You know, speaking of burning hot and burn yourself out of flavor. Now, I don't know much about Latakia blends or straight Latakia, but I know up front about a Virginia. They say Virginia's and Latakia has a lot of sugar in it. Well, the more sugar content you have, the hotter your tobacco is going to burn. And so, you know, that's all, you know, it all goes back to like your cadence and your smoking. Now, as narrow as a bowl as that is, and you know, because not, you know, sometimes better, there's certain pipes that go better with certain tobaccos too, and pairing that tobacco with that pipe sometimes. Now, I'm not too much into that, but your veteran pipers out there, you know, they have it down to exact math, some of them, you know, a lot of trial and error. But I'm mostly a aromatic smoker. But with the Virginia that I've tried a 2 mixed Virginia blend. That was an older blend, and it was, I can't remember if it was H&H or I think it was Hearth and Home, but or whatever the double H stands for. I think it's Hearth and Home. I could be wrong. Or Peterson, but I'm thinking it was more of an HH blend. That was a Virginia, and I noticed that right off the bat, you know, if you smoke with a fast cadence, unlike I normally can with my normal aromatics that I'm always smoking, it'll burn hot real quick. It don't even take but maybe 2 puffs if you're, you know, if you do them directly back, you know, that bowl's going to get hot. And it will cause quicker tongue bite. And also, if you light the tobacco wrong in the bowl, you know, because you lightly got to, like, wick it, you know, take a drag and wick that flame across and start holding it there, because it'll scorch the tobacco all the way down when that flame comes, like, right into the bowl, and it'll more or less burn it instead of lightly toasting it. And yes, D, we're live right now. Ladies and gentlemen, my sister just sent me a text message. Yes, D, we're live right now if you're watching. And anyways, whenever you do that, you get a burnt taste. And the burnt taste, once you burn that tobacco and it's scorched, you ain't going to taste any of the natural oils or any of the nutty taste. Now, I've been told that a a lot of Kia has a bit of a nutty taste to it too. And so, I was told like those essential oils that's naturally in tobacco, you ain't gonna taste that because you've done scorched it. It's already toasted, and all you're doing is smoking burnt and tasting burnt flavors in the tobacco, and you get a quicker tongue bite, and you can't get that taste out of your mouth for a while.
Well,
Can I get it? I just got it. No, don't do it that way.
now I was talking about like hot builds on coils. So what I mean by that is, just to kind of clarify for that, a hot build would be something super sub-ohm, so like in the 0.09 range. So on a typical build like this is a flat twisted at like 3.6 ohms per coil. But when you put two of them together, you divide it by 2, and then it puts it at whatever that is. Which, let me do the math up on that real quick. So I've got two coils. So you do 0.36 divided by 2 would be 18. So I've got super sub ohm right now at 0.18. And just to kind of show you how this works, when you fire the button on one of these, that's the kind of vapor production it makes. And so pretty well, the lower the ohms, the more of a chance you are to get hot vapor. So for like pipe smokers or traditional cigarette smokers, where you normally get that warm inhale on it when you're like, or retrohale for pipe smokers, but an inhale for a cigarette smoker, it's real warm or real hot, which you get that, and that's how you really do start getting that tongue bite or vapor's tongue off of vaping.
Now there is one thing though. Now I don't know how this works with the vapors, but I know on pipes, your pipe stem is designed to, why you got your shank. This here is your shank, and then you got your pipe stem with your bit on the end there. And that's why some of them are elongated like that, because as it goes through, it's supposed to cool that smoke down before it gets there. But if you've got a fast cadence all the time, then it ain't got time to cool down, and it's gonna like make even your shank really hot too. Now, your church wardens is what I like to smoke from a church warden one time just to see the difference. But a lot of pipe smokers will tell you that a church warden is a very cool smoke, because by the time it gets to the end there where the bit's in your mouth, it's already cooled down, and so you ain't got to, it got to, it cools it down, because it's like it got that long distance to travel.
Here's another thing I kind of wanted to talk about. You know that Piper, or I'm not really sure what he is, but you sent me a video on him, and he was actually vaping.
Oh, you mean Gray Bailey?
Yeah, Gray Bailey. Decided he was not gonna smoke pipe in his vehicle, so he went and got him a vape almost like this, but he didn't get a smock. He got a I think it was a Joytech or an iJoy, something of that nature.
And also, for reference, that was a bit of an older video, but I didn't know the guy had vaped before.
But pretty well, he took one like this, and he took a stem from a pipe.
Huh.
And was using that because he didn't like putting a cylinder to his mouth. So he would be able to hold it right here. And I believe it was actually a church warden stem that he kind of got warm and bent it, and so that way he could hold it like this and kind of just puff on it. But he didn't use fruity flavors or cereal flavors or cookie flavors, nothing like that. He used traditional tobacco flavors, and he made his own blend from different types of juices, which I thought was pretty neat. Not very many people do that. Me, I'm one of those people. I like to experiment with my juices, and I will mix different flavors together that I think will taste good. And if I like it, I'll vape on it. If I don't, I won't use it.
Now, when you're blending making your own blends of tobacco, with blends of tobacco that you already like, do you have to to get certain flavors to permeate from the tobacco. Sometimes you have to let it cellar, set it in a jar, or somewhere where it's going to be pretty much airtight constantly and sealed up, where no airflow can get to it or anything. I don't like vaping. What's that name? The piping
Steph.
artist.
Piping artist stuff.
Yeah, I don't like vaping neither. Oh, well, you're so sweet. Hey, I like the video that you and Derek Tant done together. It was awesome, by the way.
Vaping really isn't for everybody, but
You're welcome.
I look at it as a alternative to kind of, or not really safer. It's safer. It's been proven 95% safer than smoking cigarettes, tobacco, pipe tobacco, and chewing tobacco. But like there was this whole big uproar. Even you brought it up to me. It was popcorn lung.
Now, see, I didn't know nothing about that, but it just concerned me. I already know the risks of what I'm doing. But that's an unknown risk, and you being my cousin, I didn't want to see you, just a common.
I was actually going to send you a video for an informational video from a YouTuber that I watch. Now, I don't use anything that has the flavoring. I don't vape on anything, actually, that has the flavoring that I'm about to say. I don't know if I'm going to pronounce it right, but it's called diacetyl or...
Google it. Let's do a live Google here. I started smoking pipes to quit smoking cigarettes, going on, to vape. Oh, we need to have another thing.
Here, I'll set mine up for the live chats.
Yeah, everybody, our artisan Piper, if you could give us just a few seconds for him to load up the his thing.
Started smoking pipes to quit smoking cigarettes. Good on you to vape instead of cigarettes. That is true. It's better to vape than it is to smoke cigarettes. As I was saying, like the flavoring diacetyl is common in like custard and other vapor juices that have butter flavor. That gives it that butter flavor. Now there was a factory back either a year or 2 years ago where 8 out of like 500 people had popcorn lung that was associated with the diacetyl. Now I don't use anything of that. There are like the top shelf e-liquids, and what I mean by top shelf is the really good, really expensive, and the guys who know what they're doing. They all took diacetyl out of their juices. Now there are some companies, most of the custard flavors, if it doesn't have it in there, the custard flavors really don't taste right, which I'm not a custard fan at all. I think they're nasty. I've tried custard once and I thought it was going to make me sick.
Actually, down in Kentucky, I thought I ran across, smelled something that smelled like melted popcorn butter, actually, and someone said there was a custard vape, and I'm just like, that's a weird smell. I'm used to everybody smoking something fruity, and then I smelled one time it was supposed to be chocolate pebbles or something like that, that someone was smoking, and I smelled like that one type of little cake they call it a volcano cake or whatever,
Lava cake.
Yeah, it smelled like one of them, and I'm just like, well, that smells great.
Now, I have used one juice that had a butter flavor to it, but that was because it was pancake. It was a strawberry pancake syrup with a little bit of butter, and you really couldn't taste the buttery flavor to it, so I don't know whether that had diacetyl in it or not, but I haven't used it since because I literally bought a brand new coil head, put it in, because before I put new juice, because I buy new juice once a week, because I can't use the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over. It'll burn me out real quick. And get a new coil head and a new juice, so that way the flavors don't mix together. And to get the flavor that I'm looking for. But yeah, popcorn lung is very, very unlikely. I know it was like super concerning for you.
Oh
but
yeah.
I don't really use any of the juices that would be associated with strawberry pancake. He says, yes, strawberry pancake is very, very good, but it will destroy a $5 coil head, and vaping gets pretty expensive. That's why I quit using it.
Oh, by the way,
Yum.
that's she.
What did I say?
You said he. She's a she.
Sorry. Sorry. Yum, what tobaccos do you like in your pipe?
Me, I've not really found any type of a Virginia or anything that I really like, because I'm more into the aromatics now. I had an aromatic. Now I love borderline borderline non and borderline aromatics. Like one tobacco that I got that's a German tobacco that starts with a V. I can't pronounce it. I think it says Vienna or Vienna or something like that. I know that's not how it says, but that's the best I can do offhand using my memory. Now it was like an in between borderline non-aromatic and aromatic, and it tasted like it was a nutty pecan flavor, and it went great with morning coffee. That first cup of coffee, and you pack that first bowl full of that stuff, it was great. That's the closest I ever came to touching a non-aromatic, but yet it was still aromatic, but not straight aromatic. But most of the time, I like smoking aromatics. A blend that I don't know if I'm going to be able to get or not, or if I can order it, call up the company and order it over the phone. But Strauss Tobacco, I love that place. In Kentucky, I had the opportunity to either travel to Ohio on Fountain Square to the original Strauss tobacconist, or take a bus trip down to oh man, Florence, and go to the Strauss store there. But my favorite bulk tobacco that they have, and I've mentioned this half a dozen times, is River Road. As you can see, there's like a half a pound there, and I got like that much left of it, and I bought that like maybe 2 months back. But that's my favorite blend, and I love Cavendish. I would love to try anything flavored with Cavendish, and there's a few flavors I've been looking at on smokingpipes.com. They have a black and or straight black Cavendish. They have peaches and cream, berries and cream, and a chocolate mint, but it also has a little bit of ribbon cut Virginia in it too. But I'm not too for sure if that's for more of as an igniter mixture to mix in with it, for combustion, or if it adds any more of a flavor to it. I want to try that. There's this other stuff too, and I'm not too much for like anything that's kind of apple flavor or anything, but they have what they call a caramel apples, which River Road is supposed to be similar to that type of flavor too, but I get more like a plum raisiny / like bread pudding kind of flavor from it. And I mean, once in a while I get the hint of like an apple and a caramely taste, but majority of the time it's like a bread pudding minus the cinnamon and nutmeg to me. And I also have some flavor blends that I'm going to try and do eventually, as which I got them right here. That's a cigar leaf wrap right there. You can hold it up if you like. That's something that Mark, the Bavarian pipe smoker, sent me through the mail one time.
Connecticut cigar leaf.
Yeah, I've yet tried that. That's going to be the next non-aromatic that I try. You want to hold it up? Is that there's the next closest to non-aromatic that I'm going to try. just for the sake of science, you know. Just experiment, broaden my horizons a little bit. But I'll show you here. Hey, here's your favorite blend.
Cherry.
Yeah, my cousin, when he first smoked a pipe, he loved this blend right here. So I'd say if he ever went to being a pipe smoker, this would be his blend, I bet. And then here's my new tobacco that I'm going to
I
try.
did, however, make the mistake of actually inhaling it, which made me sick.
That new it.
You know how you like it. She said, "Let me know how you like it."
Him or me?
Believe you.
Oh.
Talking about the Connecticut leaf.
Oh, if you're talking about the Connecticut leaf, I will let you know. Here's one.
Yikes.
Oh,
You got the sissy.
what's yikes? But anyway.
Like, oh no, or
Oh.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Here's the first new blend I got that I'm going to try eventually. It's Peterson of Dublin Sunset Breeze.
Let me smell that.
Oh, it's not open yet.
Oh, you ain't opened it? Okay.
No. This stuff I'm kind of also letting it kind of sell out.
When you open it, let me know. I want to smell it.
Oh, well. Now, me talking about earlier about blends are like right on the borderline of aromatic and non-aromatic.
Yikes to inhaling. Oh yeah, yeah. My stomach hurt so bad, and my chest actually hurt pretty bad too. So I won't ever make that mistake again.
Now the sad part is I think I filled the town about keeping a piece of dark chocolate around.
Oh, we had dark chocolate, so I was very, very lucky.
Oh man, because I know a lot of the veterans pipers out there, man. You know, they tell you, I think I covered in the first video we done together.
Yeah, about dark chocolate and how it could get rid of the headaches it gives you.
And the strong nick hit.
Yeah.
But anyways, borderline tobaccos. This is a blend that I've been wanting to try forever.
I can't get it.
You can't get what?
You don't need that, baby. Go back over there. Yes.
My cousin's a full-time dad.
Yeah.
That's one of my little cousins.
You want to say hi?
No.
Okay, fine. That's all right.
Are you sure you don't want to say hi? You say hello, YouTube. Okay. But anyways, I've seen a lot of reviews on this blend, and I want to try it. It's Peterson of Dublin's Nutty Cut. Now, I was told whenever I got a hold of that other tobacco, that the German tobacco, I was told that it was similar to this. So I got a lot of high hopes for this blend right here. A lot of high hopes, and I'm hoping it works out and it's awesome, just as good as the Veneer or Veneer. I'm not good at pronouncing that. You gotta overlook
Is
me.
this made of clay?
Yeah, that's a pipe that I made. You want to hold it up and show everybody? That is a pipe that. Are you one up here? You want to say hello?
No.
Well, what are you trying to do, kiddo?
Yes.
She wants me.
Everybody, this is my little cousin.
Both of you? You?
Yep, that's me.
Too?
Yep, and him too.
Oh. You, Daddy?
Yep, that's me and cousin Rob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cutie pie.
Don't let the cuteness fool you. She's a little. Pardon my language. She's a hellion. Just like me when I was her age.
I was saying, sounds like somebody else I know. And then here's another one that I'm gonna.
Out.
You what?
Daddy, get me out.
Ah, cool. Here's another blend I've been wanting to try that I think I seen only one review, but it's been a long time ago back on it, and it's called Peterson of Dublin's Sweet Killarney, and I heard some people say that kind of has a bit of a chocolate taste to it, or like a candy confection taste to it, and I'm looking forward to trying that too eventually.
Daddy.
And also, I've been told.
No, don't be grabbing stuff.
I've been told that this is supposed to be the flavor of amaretto coffee creamer. So I'm looking forward to those blends. But I'm wanting to smoke what I got, and I'll tell you another blend that I really like. Hey, what'd she say?
I have a 10-year-old girl, 13-year-old boy. They're all cute, but still crazy kiddos. They're not that age yet. I've got 3 of them. I've got my 2-year-old, which is this one here, and then I got my 4-year-old boy, and we have an 8-month-old. Cute as button. Meaner than a striped snake, though. The 2 older ones are, anyway.
Well, because you're highly educated. Can you read the brand right there?
Holger Danzig.
It's what?
Holger Danzig.
I thought it was Holger Dansky.
Is that tooth? Mommy?
Okay, I see the Dansky now. Holger or Holger?
Is that tooth? Mommy?
Anyways, this is one of my favorite blends. I thought about looking up, seeing if this company has any more blends that's similar to this or even better, and trying it. I don't know if anyone else out there has tried it. If you have, let me know. But I like this. It's a pure, straight black Cavendish, and I love it. And it's one of my favorite aromatics too. And then also, I'd show you the other aromatic that's like it's like a borderline aromatic, but the camera stand's sitting on top of this tin of tobacco, so I'll read off the tin here. 7 Nelly, 1876 Leonardo. Now, Mark, the Brenning pipe smoker, also sent me that in the mail, and it's like another borderline aromatic. And I get all sorts of flavors from it too. Like I get a Christmassy like flavor. Other times I get like it's a light aromatic that I can't describe the taste of the aromatic, but it's like in between aromatic and non-aromatic.
You know, speaking of Germany, I actually have a buddy who is stationed over in Germany right now.
I got a friend whose son is stationed in Germany too.
He was stationed over there not too long ago. He's been there a couple days, and sad to say this, he's in the army, and he's already had something stolen from him.
Hey, a fish get like this.
But, you know, I've known this kid, well, not really a kid, I've known this guy since we were kids, preschool pretty well. And I just found out it was that Saturday night, Sunday night, or was that Saturday night that I called him?
And
I think it was Saturday night. I talked to him at like 3 in the morning.
It was the night that, it was Saturday.
It was Saturday night after I got back from getting you. I posted a new picture of this on Snapchat because I was excited to find this. The shop I go to doesn't carry that one, but they can order it. And I just happened to go into a shop in Plainfield, and I found it, and I was so excited that I found it, and I ended up buying it. But I put a picture of Snapchat on there, and he said, mine's better, and sent me a picture of his. And I was like, you know, hey man, call me real quick. And he FaceTimed me, and come to find out he'd been vaping for like 8 or 9 months. Okay, alright guys, back to entering grades. I teach 5th grade science.
And he spoke this one.
What did she say?
She said, alright guys, back to entering grades. I teach 5th grade science. Keep them lit. Hugs to you and yours guys.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thank you. And 5th grade science is probably my favorite class.
I think my favorite was recess, art, and lunch.
PE. I was a big PE person too. Real big into PE. One of the very few classes that I actually passed once I got to high school. That and welding and my construction class. Lord help me, I was horrible in algebra. And English, even though I speak it, I can't seem to understand it in a language book. Because they make it so complicated.
I know. You know, something I always hated was they always like, you can either learn French or Spanish. Why is it it's just French and Spanish? You know, even if it's just a mainstream language that's coming in.
Hey, look at that. Look at that.
I'm gonna put you down now, okay? So go watch cartoons.
No, I can't.
Yes, you can.
I can't.
Why not?
Sissy bite me. No.
Kids, they're crazy. As you were saying,
What was I saying?
I don't remember.
Don't remember. Golly, that makes two of us.
It happens as you get older, I guess. You just kind of forget what you're saying. Oh, we were talking about school. That's right.
I can't get out there.
Well, what are you trying to do?
Faith, go back over there, okay?
No.
Please, please.
I can't.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
I can't.
Why not? You're tired.
No.
You're sleepy.
No.
Yeah.
No.
You can go to bed early tonight then.
But
She didn't like that too well.
no. See, everybody, I'll tell you a little bit about this pipe I made. I didn't have too much of a rotation. My first two pipes was, well, I had a immersion mineral press, but I learned the hard way. I got a video about that. But really, the first two good pipes I had in rotation was just these two. And it was good, but I knew that I needed to get me something else in rotation. So I couldn't afford a pipe right away, but I had a friend that gave me some clay. And so I made this little pipe, nothing fancy. It's a step grade below porcelain, and it don't take well to hot temperatures a whole lot well, because if you look inside the bowl there, I don't know if you can really see it that well, but it kind of bubbled up on the inside from the heat a little bit. So I was using that for a good long while, you know, till I could get me something different. But it smoked good, smoked well, and it done the job and served the purpose. And once in a while, I'll still smoke out of it if I'm wanting to give everything else a rest. Now, I will say that I have some tobacco coming to me, and from a fellow YouTuber, and he was offering samples to anybody that liked to try a sample of tobacco that wasn't being manufactured no more. And so I told him, I said, I'm more of an aromatic smoker, and this is supposed to be like a Virginia blend. And so I take and was it's worth a try, especially a blend that they don't make anymore. I mean, what's the chances and the odds of somebody wanting to share that, instead of jarring it up and, hoarding it, So I was like, if you're willing to, spare a little bit, enough for a couple of bowls or whatever, I'd be happy to take some, So I got some on the way, and I ain't going to give it away who it is just yet, because I want to wait till I get the delivery of it and everything. And he sent it in the mail, I think yesterday or today, I can't remember which, but it'll be here eventually. And when I do, I told him I was going to do a big shout out and a yabo with it and everything to him, but I can't explain it. It pretty much means a box opening on YouTube.
Okay.
I'm not really. There's videos about people explaining what a yabo is. I know what it is. It's just hard to get that information.
So basically, just an unboxing, first look, first intake, first smell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey.
Yeah.
That's lucky.
Well, that's cool.
That's lucky.
But I have a pipe particularly set aside for that. It's another Ozark, Missouri Meerschaum hardwood pipe, unsmoked, has not had nothing put in it because I'm wanting to have one pipe just for Virginia blends only, and that way I'll have a much clearer, palate form, smoking out of a bowl that's had nothing but non-aromatics in it, because I figured that would just give a fair trial to a non-aromatic or Virginia. And so whenever that comes in, I'm going to smoke it out of this. I like these little pipes, and if you look at the bowl size and everything, it's narrow enough that it's really perfect if you're a Virginia or even a Burley or a lot of Kia smoker. It ain't got a big wide bowl, and it burns the tobacco evenly. I'll show you with the tobacco I got in this pipe. If you look at the ash that's in it, you'll see it's all burnt evenly, and everything, and burns white. It's really a good pipe. You couldn't ask for much better of a pipe, I don't think, unless you ran across a good Peterson with a condenser on it, as which I just recently learned what a condenser is. You know what a condenser is?
No, unless you're talking about something on a vehicle. I'm not really too for sure.
Well, I'll give you an education. Education
Or
here.
an AC condenser. That's about it. That's for a car or a truck.
Well, this ain't what a condenser is, but let's say this filter here is a condenser. Most of your Peterson pipes are drilled with what's known as a Peterson system, as which is a drill hole that runs underneath past the draft hole inside the bowl, allowing moisture to drop it down and giving you a much cleaner, drier smoke. Well, with that condenser on there, which is a little metal piece that screws on the end of the pipe, that has pretty much, from what I've seen pictures of what people showed on YouTube, a hole probably smaller than that, probably has like a pinhole in it, kinda, and it takes out the moisture content out of the smoke, making it much cooler and drier smoke and everything. And I've been told it's also good for anybody that's a wet smoker too, because it helps do that. And the Peterson system is drilled for wet smokers anyways, and so it's a good, if you're, I'm going to say, from what I've gathered from information and from watching, it's like a good intermediate pipe for the intermediate smoker.
So, what exactly is a wet smoker?
Well, sometimes, like, I ain't gonna say the actual word because I don't want to offend people in this manner, because some people might take it the wrong way. But the old-fashioned name for when someone's smoking a cigarette and they get the butt wet.
Okay.
Well, it's kind of like for those who kind of get a little drool or something inside of the stem, and then it kind of it drains down into the bowl a little
Talking
bit.
about wet lipping, okay.
More or less. That's the most refined way I've ever heard that put.
Gotta remember, I lived in Indianapolis, and there's a few different terms for that, so.
I just got myself an education. Hello, viewer. I'd just like to say thank you for watching.
Now, another question I want to ask you. You can't do smoke rings or nothing like that with that, can you?
I've done it a few times, but you can do smoke rings with them. There's not anything that you can smoke. You can do smoke rings if you know how to do it. I can do a pipe ring.
Pipe ring? No, I could show you something really, really cool. Actually, I'm gonna talk about that. Like, that's another reason that got me into vaping. You can do a whole bunch of different stuff. You can do smoke rings. You can do jellyfish. There's different types of inhales. There's a French inhale, Bane inhale, a Ghost inhale. Which your typical Bane is.
He's got green, Mommy. He's got green. Okay.
I'm hungry. Yeah, you want one?
You can't do it off that one. Where you've got the different strands in it. Versus a French inhale would be.
Now see, if I was an inhaler, I could possibly do the French inhale. I just mostly do the retrohale.
These are fresh.
That's a Ghost.
Oh, that's cool. You make it come out your ears?
I wish. That'd be pretty cool. That'd be a new trick.
It's like one of those moments where you're like, here, hold my beer and watch this.
Like, see, like smoke rings are easy. The different types of inhales are easy. The hardest one I've done yet is the jellyfish, and I can only do it like one out of like 100 times. A couple nights ago, I managed to get 3 of them, but I was also around another vapor, and you know, kind of like pipe smoking, it's a social thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you're more into it, and you're like, hey, can you do this? Or, you know, that's how vaping works. And some people are like, no, I can't do tricks. Well, here, let me show you something new. And I actually taught one of my, he wasn't really a friend of mine, just somebody that I happened to be acquainted with, but me and him became pretty good friends. And I taught him how to do a jellyfish.
Oh, wow.
Not very easy.
I remember I tried to get you to do an example last time we done one of these videos.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. And unless you're in like a room with black walls and decent lighting and no air, it's hard to really see it on camera. Like, for instance, one of the channels that I watch, VGod, which is actually a brand. It's a channel. It's actually a vaping team. They're professional vapors. They sell different types of vaping mods, and basically, this is a mod. This is a mod with a tank, and this is a mod with a tank. They sell 2 different types, as far as I know. They sell a box type, which is more like this, but it's shaped like this. It is a regulated box with a mechanical or bypass mode. And what that means is it's running straight off of the power of the battery, and it's not running through the chip to be regulated. So it's running off of, it's a dual parallel box, which means it's got 2 batteries that sit in parallel with each other, like that. And it's running straight off the battery's power. And
Cool.
and it runs straight off the power, and it's not being regulated, so it's just running off of what the voltage of the battery is. So these are 3.7 volts, but 2 of them together push out like 4.7, 4.2, somewhere in there. I'd have to redo my research on it. But it runs straight off of the voltage of the battery versus being regulated to the box of how much the volts push out. Like on this one, depending on the coil head or atomizer that you put on here, it regulates the voltage that you can use, or how much voltage is being used to obtain the wattage that you have it to. Like there's different types of vaping, as I was saying in the beginning. You can run in temperature control mode, there's mechanical, and then there's just regular, which would be, you know, a regulated box. But temperature control, it allows you to go from, I think it's like 100 to 600 degrees Fahrenheit, and they have it in Celsius, and I think it's like, I can't remember what it is in Celsius that it goes to. It's like 100 or something like that in Celsius. Whatever the equivalent to 600 Fahrenheit. It goes to in Celsius for those of you who know more about Celsius. But what it allows it to do is you can. How was that described to me or explained to me? Basically, it goes to that temperature before it shuts down or whatever.
Oh, she already burped. She burped on her own.
And then, you know, there's the mechanicals, which, like something like this or something like this, you can turn off. Basically, the old school mechanical boxes or tubes didn't come with an off switch. Well, these ones do now. See, this one, this right here is the off switch. So what I gotta do is flip it up like that, and the box is no longer, the battery is no longer a connection to this, so it will not fire. So I can sit here and press this all I want and it will not fire, but I connect that back to it, it fires.
You know, speaking of channels and vaping, everybody, I've mentioned this quite a few times that my cousin here has his own channel called Cade Lash, and I've asked y'all if you would, you know, give him a sub, you know, kind of give him some encouraging words, you know, to make some new videos. Well, he has some exciting news to share with you all, and also to explain to you why it's taken him so long to decide to make more videos.
Well, I am announcing that I'm actually going to start a vaping channel. Now, most of it's not going to be like reviews, like a lot of channels where they review boxes and tanks. I'm going to start off simple and do juice reviews because, like I said, I get a new juice every week. So it'll be probably one video a week until, you know, I'm able to do it more often when I start. Because the way my work schedule is set up and the way I'm paid, it doesn't allow me to do any more than that than once a week, because unless I'm going to buy, because I buy me a bottle and I buy my wife a bottle, and I don't want to use her juice for review. You know, I'd rather use my own juice that I'm getting familiar with, because I'll sit and, you know, I'll use it and sit there and think on it and kind of think of ways to kind of describe it before I actually go in full on, before I talk about it. So I'm going to start off one video a week and go from there. And that's for those of you on this channel that are interested to know more about vaping, or, you know, or just want another channel to watch, because I won't just talk about vaping and stuff like that. I'm kind of a random person, just like he is. Very, very random. I mean, probably won't do live videos until I have that set up. I don't really have that set up for my account yet. But we'll kind of see where this goes and see what I can get going. But part of the reason why I waited was I was waiting to get this specific box, or one like it, because those allow you to build your own coils and wick your own coils, because it allows you to get more of a, what's that word I'm looking for? It allows you to get more familiar with the juice that you're using.
And any flavors that makes up that juice.
Yeah, and the flavors that are in it. Now, another thing I'm going to have to wait for, really, which I'm probably going to be getting this week, is a new RDA. For those of you that don't know what RDA is, it stands for Rebuildable Dripping Atomizer. Something that actually gives off good flavor, because this style right here, where it's just straight open, those don't give off good flavor, and you can't really get familiar with the flavor of the juice. So basically it's just airflow and vapor, which is pretty well what that's for. But I'm going to get one that has a concave in it that kind of domes up to the mouth hole, because that's where you get your flavor at in those.
Now, there's something I like to say for all my fellow pipers out there when it comes to this world of vaping. I put your daughters on the desk over there, man.
Yeah, they're over there.
But for all of you, all my fellow pipers out there in the YTPC that might vape on the side a little bit, my cousin found something that, I mean, I probably would never use it, but it'd be cool to, I told him it'd be something cool just to own, just so you own one. They have a vape out there.
They actually have multiple of these. Let me go ahead and talk about it since I know a little bit more about it. Smock has what's called the Guardian, or the Guardian Kit. It is a vape that is shaped just like a pipe for pipe smokers. Now they've got different variants. They've got the Guardian 2, the Guardian 3, and I believe they've got a Guardian 4 and a 5. I've not seen anything on those. I know about the 1, 2, and 3. Now, the way that I've seen, I didn't really look in too much to the 2, but I know the Guardian, the Guardian 1, it does not have any fancy bells and whistles. Pretty well, it's like this, no LED screen or anything, where like this one has an LED screen with the wattage on it and the voltage. Pretty well, you just press a button, which would be right here where what the pipe would be, which would be right here. You just kind of press this button, that'd be right there, and you kind of just inhale on it. And then I don't know much about the 2. I haven't really seen much on it, but the 3 on the pipe on it, you've actually got a battery that goes into where the stem would be, and instead of having a button on top, there's a button that'd be right here on it, and you just press it and vape on it.
So it looked like you're just smoking a regular pipe on it like a gentleman's pipe, and
except for the Guardian 3 has an OLED screen on it, and it allows you to regulate your wattage and all that.
Alright. See, I told them the thing that I thought would have been cool about them is because the way they're loaded, it's not quite like what you think, but I told them it'd be cool if they actually had it to where, you know, you load it up, you know, like you would a normal tobacco pipe, but instead you put have a cotton piece there with a coil sitting inside of a bowl, you know, like that, and then make it to where, you know, if you had to replace the coil, make it to where you could unscrew the top part of the bowl off like a falcon pipe, kind of, you know, but it'd be all coil, you know, like for the vape and everything, and, you know, you could still puff on it and, like, have it to where it would, like, glow red or something, you know, and to where
the Guardian 1 actually glows red when you hit the button.
Oh, wow, that's pretty.
And it's actually got, like, an ash or tobacco look on top of it, so when you, but it's big and bulky. That's the only thing I've seen that I don't like about it. But it does glow red when you hit it. Now, the other 2 I'm not too familiar with. But instead of loading it, you know, where you would use this would be on the end like that on it. This is the tank. That's where your juice is at. And they, from the videos that I've seen on it, I see a lot of people who weren't even really pipe smokers but got it, and they reviewed it, and they seem to like it pretty well. But as I was saying, you know, vaping's not for everybody, but...
No, it's not.
But, you know, sometimes I've noticed some people will try it once and they choke up on it and don't like it. It does take time to get used to. I know the first time that I ever vaped, I coughed so bad for weeks. And really, it just depends on the type of juice you're using, because not your, how do I put this? Your first-time vapor can't use a juice with an 80 VG7 or 80 VG20 PG, because the VG is thick. It makes it thicker, which allows you to produce real thick vapor for like competitions and stuff of that nature. So that would probably be why you choked and coughed on mine. Now,
Go get it and open it.
like this stuff right here, it's called Pixie by Time Bomb. It is there so you can see it. It is a grape pixie stick flavor. Very, very good.
Oh, speaking of grape. Oh, go on.
get you a whiff of that.
Oh! Can I ask you for a big favor? You see that little mason jar sitting on the top shelf there? Could you bring it over here?
But anyway,
You gotta treat your off-camera help with a lot of respect, and they'll help you out. See?
this is a 60-40 mixture. This is a thinner vapor. This makes thinner vapor production, and it carries a lot of flavor because it's got more of a PG in it. So this would, 50 or 60-40 or 50-50 would be something that like a first-time vapor should really start off on. I mean, not going in hard to like 80-20 or like this. This is Betty by Pinup. It's a mixed fruit. This is a 75-25.
Just get a whiff of that.
This, okay, they call this the mystery juice, kind of, because it changes flavor every puff.
Some aromatics are the same way. Ooh, that makes me want to eat mangoes. That's like a real fruit cocktail smell.
Now I was talking about how this one is super sweet. You can smell the sweetness in it.
Oh yeah, that's like a citrusy smell. Kind of actually almost has a bit of almost like a straight Virginia smell. Sometimes can have like that citrusy smell to it too, and everything. Now, is your sinuses pretty clear to where you can distinguish smells?
Kinda.
All right. Here, take a whiff of that because I hurt your sinuses. What's that smell like?
Burnt ash.
Yeah, it's almost out of the bottom of the bowl. Open this up and smell it, and tell me if it smells any different than that.
Ooh. It's almost got a grapefruit scent to it, though. Almost. It smells really good.
That is Captain Black's grape.
Captain Black's grape.
Yes, and when you smoke...
Well, see, there's several different types of, like, grapes. Like, this is a candy grape. Where this is probably more along the lines of, like, an actual grape flavor. So maybe like there's even a different type of grape that Welch's use. It's super sweet off the bottom.
That's what that tastes like when you're smoking it.
A Welch's grape?
It's like taking a sip of Welch's grape juice. And most aromatics like that.
You got two of them, Daddy. Daddy, I got you two of them. Blues. I got two blues. Daddy, I got two blues.
I could have swore I seen a comment.
Daddy, I got two blues. Daddy.
We kind of lost signal for a second.
I got two blues.
When that happens, it like pops up the previous comment.
Okay, I was kind of like, somebody else comment?
But anyways, unlike most aromatics like that, what I call the cheaper aromatics, or your grocery store aromatics, they have a great aromatic smell, but within the smoke they lose the aromatic taste, and that's all they are, more or less like a glorified potpourri. And so, but that, even in the smoke, taking it in, you still taste like you're taking a sip of Welch's grape juice, which is very superb.
Speaking of potpourri, there's another thing I want to talk about. Okay, like I said, this is a candy grape. I've come to notice this, like, on especially these types of coils, if you leave a candy flavor on your cotton and you let it sit there and you haven't used it in a while, it literally tastes and smells like potpourri.
In other words, kind of like how a pipe can do if you don't clean it out well enough, it'll ghost.
Right.
Yeah, that's the problem with a lot of aromatics. That's also another reason why I'm going to leave this pipe just for straight Virginias or a lot of Kias or anything of that nature is because I ain't gonna worry about it ghosting, and it's gonna give me a much more clear palette. Now, if I ever did find a non-aromatic that I liked or an English I liked or anything, then I'm going to get me another pipe and only smoke that particular blend out of that pipe and everything, because a lot of fellow pipers out there, if you find that one blend that you just absolutely love and you don't want the worry of possible other flavors ghosting in the smoke, you just dedicate that one pipe to that one particular blend, and that's the only blend you smoke out of that pipe.
Now, okay, I will explain like cleaning of these and these. I'm kind of curious on the cleaning for a pipe.
Now, on a pipe cleaning, I don't remember here. Well, I tell you what. Whenever I get done with this bowl, finishing this bowl, I just knocked out the excess ash. Because
I just want you to explain it to me. I mean, you don't have to actually physically show me. I'm just kind of curious on how you do it.
I'll show you at the same time. It's a learning experience. I'm just kind of burning out some of the excess that's still in there because that's still good tobacco.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of knocked the ash off of it. Now, some tobaccos, you can't smoke it down to the bottom of the bowl because it just becomes either too burnt tasting, too charred, or it has too much of a moisture content that you end up like tasting the juice from it.
Mm-hmm. Well, while you're doing that, I will actually explain how you clean one of these. I didn't bring one of my empty tanks with me. So basically, with one of these, you take and you will unscrew the bottom of this, which will separate this tube right here at the top. There's a metal tube in there that connects to this coil that's right here. It's called a coil head. It'll separate from that. And you'll take this glass piece off and take this, and you'll take that coil out. Then you just take some warm water or hot water and you'll run it through there. You'll wipe it down with some paper towel. And then you'll put your new coil in there and you prime it. And basically when you prime it, what you're doing is you're taking it, putting it on this, or you can do it in your hand. It's messier that way, but you'll take and you'll put juice all inside the coil to kind of prime it up. That way it's wet. That way you don't have a dry coil when you go to start. And you'll prime the fill ports, which are these little odd-shaped crevices right there. That's actually cotton poked through there that absorbs the juice that goes inside to where the coil's at. And then you put your tank back on there. You put the juice you're using in there, and then you fire her up and use her.
That's pretty good.
You got blue. Let me see. Yeah, you got blue.
One of these, basically, on the side here, you've got Allen key screws. You'll take, you will pull these coils out, the cotton, and kind of just wash it off. You'll wash this inside of this dome out and put your new coils and cotton on there. And start vaping again.
You like my earrings?
I got one too.
Oh, well, they look pretty too.
And you get one.
You don't want that. We just throw that in the trash.
Yeah.
I gotta get up and get something so I can demonstrate something to your daddy.
Come on, Chicky.
That guy. It's a quick guy.
So basically, he's going to show me how to clean out a pipe because I'm kind of curious on how that's done. I've never really seen it done. he's talked about it before, like cleaning pipes and like the rotation and whatnot. So I'm kind of curious on how it's done. What you doing, Chickaloo? Strawberry apple kiwi. Very good flavor. Super sweet. A lot of vapor production.
Hey, I took with him. Hey.
He'll be back in just a moment, folks.
What are you doing?
The center one.
This one?
No, the second one. Yeah.
That's called pushing an O.
That's not the one.
That's how you start a jellyfish.
That won't get dirty for me.
What?
That won't get dirty for me.
Why don't you go watch the movie?
No.
That's the second one.
Yeah. Why not?
Hey,
Why
but
not?
You're messing it up.
Get her. Oh, and another thing about my channel, it will be family friendly. I do have little ones here. So that way, if you have kids and you all can kind of watch it and not have to worry about profanity. Now, if there is something of that nature that will pop up into it, I will put a parental advisory or whatever on there, so that way you know that it's got that in there. So.
Now you can't eat me.
Now, I don't know if I will do, and I've seen a lot of vapors do this, like especially reviews, they do timestamps on there. They post where they start talking about something else, which, like I said, I'll talk about different things, other than vaping. But yeah, so you guys know we'll be family friendly, and like I said, I've got little ones around, so if you have children, it's safe for them to watch if you want them to watch it with you or whatnot.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Alright. First of all, you still got gunk in the bottom of your bowl. You take your ashtray, or in this case, I'm recycling a Campbell's can.
Beef.
Yeah.
That's a purple.
Oh, yeah.
And you got it. You the purple.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kid's fascinated with the little beads I got on my keychain. Anyways, you take your handy dandy pipe reamer
We're just taking the
and you stick it in your bowl, and you don't jam it in there. You don't do it real hard.
Okay?
Do what?
Okay, let's try to take you home.
Try to take me home.
No, just try to get you home. Okay? We're trying to get you home.
Trying to get me home.
No.
Want to hear something really, really crazy?
Say hey. And
The
bye.
other night,
Okay?
we were,
You will say and bye.
we had,
Okay?
Okay.
we had just gotten home. I don't know if you remember this, but we had just gotten home, and I got her out of my vehicle, and I put her down because she likes to walk on her own. And she turns around and starts having this conversation.
This you pee.
And I'm kind of like,
You pee.
there's nobody there. And I got to think, well, maybe there is somebody there. I just can't see who they are.
Hey, this is for you.
Kind of messed with me for a second because I know my mom told me when I was a kid I used to do that too. But I was saying names and stuff of that nature. She don't say names yet. So.
So anyways, you take your pipe rimmer and you don't jam it down in there. You don't scrape real hard. What you do is you gently put your pipe rimmer in there, and you just kind of, almost kind of like the idea of a juicer, and just kind of get it down in there. And then I kind of turn it over my thing, and since I ain't got a cork knocker, I do this. Just kind of tap on that. And I look down in there, and I'll make sure I got all the gunk out. And if I ain't too sure, then I'll take my other pipe tool, which is a handy dandy multi-purpose check tool. And the reason why it's called a check tool is because used to, and I don't know if it's still this way or not, you used to only be able to get these and ship them in from Czechoslovakia,
Hey, you ain't.
on kind of the Czech Republic.
Hey, you ain't.
Yeah, it was Czechoslovakia, and now it is the Czech Republic.
I couldn't remember.
Hey, you ain't.
And sometimes I'll take the poker, sometimes, and just lightly kind of go around the sides a little bit sometimes.
Hey,
Hey, you know what?
Hey, come over here. Come over here.
Hey, you want to know something? I'm trying to do a video here. You know that? You know when someone's talking, you shouldn't be interrupting. Yeah, I see. Do you understand?
no.
Well, at least you're honest.
You got milk? See you.
I only got to talk to my mama. Anyways, when I do that, you get a little loose stuff from around there. And once again, you don't dig real hard, just lightly go through there.
Talking to
And
Dad.
I kind of give it a little knock on the bottom of the barrel.
Hey. No. No.
And then I'll look in there, make sure, there ain't nothing I missed. And then what I'll do is, if the shank here, because the part that comes from the bowl to your stem, that's called the shank.
She's got tea in there.
You don't want tea?
No.
How do you get it out?
Thing's still full.
Don't hurt.
What's wrong with it? It's tea, sweetheart.
No.
You love tea.
She wants milk.
You need to drink this first.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yes, you can.
No.
Yeah.
You do what your dad says.
No, because that's kind of expensive.
Hey.
Anyways, when it gets like that, I'll take and sometimes use my
Hey.
pipe cleaner.
Oh, you might not get up in that chair and walk.
And thank you.
Hey. Up there. Ooh.
Uh-oh. Well, it gonna be dad.
Sit there. Don't get up. Do not get up.
Well, one of the joys of being a father, I guess. What would I know? Anyways, you ready for this?
Yeah.
Here, you can wear this. My voice carries. At least I think it does. By the way, folks, let me know what you think of the sound quality. Got a brand new set of headphones with a good mic on it. Anyways, I'll take my one end of my pipe cleaner and I'll just kind of swab around the bottom a little bit. Now, with a brand new pipe that I actually learned this off of Board Gaming Pipe Smoker, or Pipe Smoking Board Gamer, dang it. One of these days I'll get that right. If you're watching, buddy, I don't mean no offense. But anyways, I take in my pipe cleaner kind of swab around in there, and sometimes that breaks up some stuff too that's been stuck to the wall. And then once again, you just take and tap her down right there. And then, if that's not hot feeling or anything, then I'll separate the stem from the shank. Now this has a filter on it, and I don't know where to really get more filters or what type of filters these are called. I can't remember. But in my cob and my other hardwood, I just took them out after they were done because sometimes, they keep loose tobacco from going back into your mouth. But these don't work as well as the 9mm filters, which is what my other pipe takes, which is these filters right here. As which I love these filters better. They're a charcoal filter.
Oh, a 9mm filter.
Mm-hmm. But anyways, I'll take and when I got one with a filter in it, I'll take that off, and then I'll take my end there, put it down in the middle of the bowl there, and push it all the way down until you see it come through the thing there. And I just kind of ram it through a little bit. And sometimes you got tobacco that gets stuck up in here, and so sometimes you'll do this, and it'll help push some of it out. But it looks like this is fairly kind of clean. And then I'll give it a little knock. Nothing comes out. And then after that, mostly you do that to get rid of the moisture content, because the less moisture you have in your bowl, the better off. Unless it's a brand new pipe, fresh like this. And like I said, I learned this. I never knew this before, but I was watching the Board Gamer Pipe Smoker channel, or Pipe Smoking Board Gamer channel, and he showed how he filled it not all the way full, but just a little bit full, and smoked it completely down. And then he took his thumb over the bowl, or his fingers over the bowl, and he shook it up and down a little bit and spread the ash inside. When you do that, you prime that bowl to start building up a cake like you see that one have, and it helps protect the bowl and keeps moisture from going into the wood, which is a good thing. And then, like I said, with the ones with the filter, I'll take the filter out for a little bit, and you see that moisture content?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like also a bit of being a wet smoker too. And I'll take out that filter. Of course, it needs to be replaced, but I just ain't got the place to go to replace it. And just to give you an example, I'll use the clean end of this just to show you. I'll run it through like that. And that gets rid of the moisture. Now, feel the tip of that. You wouldn't realize that much moisture gets built up in a pipe, but it does. And this is proper maintenance, and it's how you keep your pipes lasting for a very long time. And anyways, towards the end, long pipe. I don't know where that filter go. Oh, there it is. And then one thing I learned from watching Mutton Chop Piper which is a cool guy. If you're into some card games and stuff too,
You say card or car?
Card games.
Card games, okay.
He does table card games a lot. And anyways, I learned this trick off him. You take your pipe cleaner, stick it down in there, and you kind of spread it open like that, and it helps clean out any moisture or anything that could possibly be stuck to the inside of your bowl. And you don't press it out real hard. You just, lightly go through. Then I turn it the other way a little bit like that and pop it out. And as you can see, that bowl's pretty good taken care of. Not that much moisture or anything on it. And then I knock out anything. And you don't have to take this extra precaution, but I do. I just make sure there's nothing else that can be knocked out of it. And when I'm done, I'll just simply put her back together like so. Sometimes I wipe off the filter if it's one of these. And then I stick it back in there. Make sure it's snug. See, that's also something else. You know, filter collects moisture and it helps also protect your bowl and helps with maintenance. And then I just put it back together, like so. And I store it in a position like this. That way, if there is any moisture content that does build, it'll go back in your bowl and not in your stem or your bit. That way, when you go to smoke it, you know, you ain't sucking that juice back up because it's horrible tasting, like the most sourest taste you can taste. And I just set her down, and then I go on to my next rotation of pipe. And you want to have a good proper rotation because that way it'll allow the wood to rest. Now, with cob pipes, they are a beast. You can abuse these things, and they're going to last. They are what I call more than roadworthy. And also, if you treat one right and everything, too, and also on account of the way the content is inside, they build up a pretty good cake on their own. Which is pretty decent. Anyways, you know, we're almost at... We like got a movie going on here, you know that?
Yeah.
That's how I clean my pipes.
See, I got one over there. Hey, Robert, I know what you can give away.
Oh.
The other rollinator.
You gonna pay for the shipping? That'd probably take every bit of a $200-300 bill just to ship.
What would?
Yeah, that's
My spare walker.
Oh.
Oh man.
Actually, shipping, that actually all varies on weight.
That weighs enough, it would still probably be about $100 bill.
no, don't do that.
Or a
Maybe.
little over.
Don't do that.
I don't know, I've seen some pretty heavy boxes shipped for $40.
Wow.
Put that back in.
Is that the police car?
Greatly put it back.
But I'm not too for sure because I haven't really shipped anything out in quite a while.
It's the police car.
No, that's not.
Show you something else here.
Usually I buy stuff and it's sent to me.
No way, too. You can see where the cake's starting to build up on that pipe. Now that was a primed pipe, as which it already had a little carb buildup on it. But you see the natural cake it's building up on its own.
Yeah.
That's going to help protect that pipe, protect the briar. I think this is the only briar pipe I own, as which briar is a special heat-resistant, fire-resistant wood. I mean, it eventually will burn and can burn, but it's like a strong wood, but it's actually really the root of the I can't remember the complete title, but the briar, it's a briar bush. You ever heard briar bush? That's what it is, a briar bush. And I know it grows along coastal areas, as well as over there in Scotland and Ireland and those places, because I think it's a type of plant that likes moist places. And I think that's also why it's also part heat resistant. You know, I wonder if we could talk our off-camera help into getting on the camera.
I don't know.
Would you like to be featured in our video? You don't even gotta say anything. You just pop your head and say, just give it a wave.
Off camera helps my wife.
That's right. So,
She's a bit camera shy. Now, once I start doing videos, it might take her a while before she decides, hey, you know, I want to kind of get in there and be part of the video. So, we'll give her time.
I think it'd be wonderful to have a better half that would want to do videos with me. I think it'd be so cool, you know, because, like, you know, I don't know how many, if there's any spouses out. I mean, spouses, you know, or anyone out there on in the YTPC, you know, that or spouses that do videos like this together, you know, or anything. But you know, I think that's just more of a stronger bond. Whether only one is part of the hobby and the other one is just a supporter, or you know, just want to be part of it, just to be part of it, you know.
Which she does it, but it's not really a hobby like mine is. I mean, I still use nicotine in mine, but no, like for these ones, like I said, there's different types of milligrams. You can get it in 1.5, 1.5 milligrams, 3 milligrams, 6 milligrams, 12 milligrams, and 14. And they can get it all the way up to 50 depending on like where you go, but you don't want it that high. Like 14 is like the max, and that's on an ego pen, which would be a little pin that's about yay long and it's about as big around your pinky. And it doesn't produce very much vapor. Flavor and nicotine is all you get off of it. Like one of these, you should be using 1.5 or 0, which I've got 3 nic in here, so just about every time I take a puff off of it, I get a nice nicotine rush off of it.
You know, I just got a thought. You know, when it gets warmer, a little bit of summertime, we need to do a river video or do one of these, you know, cousin videos, you know, with some better scenery. Even though you know, you gotta admit that, you know, Mom's cabinet and microwave and stuff is probably a beautiful view too, you know.
Yeah.
Oh boy. But
get them out and show them some country around this area.
that's right. Show them how us Hoosier boys get around. Boy, that can be cooking so away.
Now, talking about like the whole spouse deal, like seeing those other spouses that get on the videos. One of my favorite YouTubers that I actually watch, Roman Atwood, his wife and his kids are all in his videos.
Oh wow.
So it's pretty neat, and it's a family-friendly video. For those of you who don't know who that is, it's Roman Atwood Vlogs. You know, give him look him up, watch his videos. He's a funny guy, and he's got his own brand of his own brand. It's called Smile More, and basically his goal in life is to cheer people up, make people smile, because who wants to be grumpy and unhappy all their life?
And always have that look on their face like they're constipated.
Like I used to be.
Yeah.
I used to look like I hated the world, but
Teenagers.
I went through that. I went through that whole I don't care anymore bit when I was a teenager. So
I was just waiting for you to get all sorts of piercings, start wearing black and wearing eyeshadow.
now,
I think you was well on your way to being an emo.
I got covered in tattoos. I didn't get covered in piercings. I mean, I had my ears pierced at one point in time, which I would re-pierce my ears. I'm not into that. Oh yeah, and I had my lip pierced too, at one point in time. Yeah.
You know what that little mark is in your lip I see sometimes?
Yeah, a little dot right there. That's where I had my lip piercing at.
Every time I see that, I want to be like the Austin Powers thing. Mole! Mole, 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 mole.
No, that's actually where I had my lip pierced at. So I've had my ears and my lip pierced, that's about it. But I didn't keep the lip piercing very long because I got a fat lip. So in order to keep a lip piercing in, I had to have something like that long, and finding a bar for a lip like that was kind of hard.
And painful.
Yeah. It hurt getting it done because I had it done in the living room at a buddy's house. His girlfriend was my wife and one of her friends did it. She was an apprentice at a tattoo shop to be a piercer, and that's the only thing she hadn't done. But she wanted to test it out and see if she could do it like the old school way of doing it yourself with a sewing needle, which is how we did it, and it hurt pretty damn bad because when you poke through your lip,
You got so many nerves, man.
Well, that part didn't even bother me. It's just when you pull that needle back out and you'll have something going in the hole from the inside, that hole closes up because your mouth is the fastest healing part of your body. So as soon as you pull that needle back, that hole's already closed up.
You know what's interesting? Did you know there's, as far as I know, there are 2 other parts of your body that is made up of the same skin tissue that your mouth is, and both of them are very sensitive, both for man and woman.
Genitalia?
That's one.
Okay. I know where you're going.
The other's the rectum. Well, I guess medical terms is not so bad. Not meaning, not wanting to be any form of vulgarity, but medically, scientifically speaking,
Genitalia and rectum are the proper way to say it.
well, that, and I was just trying to give a good, talking about, like with tongue bite and stuff, and all the other things that we've discussed, it's kind of, crazy if you think about it. That's made out of the same exact form of skin tissue, that the inside of your mouth is made out of, if you think about that for a second. So, if you're thinking about it, oh, that has to be pretty rough and rugged, roadworthy, if you know what I mean. Boy, that could be taken so ways. It's tough trying to be clean.
Why did you steal my hat? My hair's a mess.
Well, can't be no worse than mine.
Well,
There, now do you feel happy?
this little poof of hair right here keeps sticking up and won't go down.
It adds character. Seriously, if you slicked your hair back, and you got like that 50s greaser look going on.
No. I do the... I got a little, like a type of a comb over because the top of my hair is so long.
Ladies and gentlemen, this dude used to have a short haircut and keep a little poof up here.
Let's not talk about that.
Oh, I am. I never wanted to hurt the boy's feelings, but it looked yay!
I'm not turning my hat around because it's got my work name on it.
Oh, it's only the work name. Oh, you don't want to be a walking billboard. Well, here, you can wear my hat up there.
I like ball caps. Oh, while I'm at it, I want to go ahead and, since I was told to do this, I'm going to give a shout out to my vape shop in Linton. 812 Vapes. If you're ever in Linton, stop by and give them a look.
Kicking.
It's where I pick up most of my stuff at. This one I didn't get there, but, like this one came from there, this one came from there, and so did this one. That's where I get all my juices at.
You know what would be wonderful? Just an idea for your channel. You ought to ask the vape shop if they would sometimes sponsor you on your channel, and give you, like, newest samples, or a small, enough to make maybe 5 or 10 hits worth of newer juices, to promote out there. I think that'd be wonderful.
Now, I don't know about that. They told me to give them a shout out, which I did because, they're good people. I go in there quite a bit. Actually, I'm in there almost every day. And I don't go in there just to buy stuff because I go in there to kind of talk and, talk about new things and kind of get to know them because the way I feel, if you're going to go somewhere and buy, you should know who you're buying from.
That's exactly, that's the thing I love about. Now, I have a bit of a disagreement with something, and no offense to anybody that vapes, anybody that owns a vape shop, no offense. I'm pretty sure maybe there might be a legal clause somewhere that you guys have to register the same way, or however that taxation stuff goes. But I consider a brick and mortar store to be something that sells cigars, bulk tobacco, tin tobaccos, pipe accessories, cigarettes, stuff like that.
So
and see, I have that controversial differential opinion. Now, I ain't saying that a juice store is another form of brick and mortar, but to me, a real brick and mortar store sells the above that I mentioned. Now, I will say, because on account of the way the marketing is going, I think all the old school, BMs should combine a little bit with what's going on. Not only just for marketing's sake, but to help people support the local BM, brick and mortar store. Because if you don't support the local brick and mortar stores, they're going to disappear, and all we'll have is online brick and mortars, and it won't be that same camaraderie where you can sit, have a smoke, camaraderie with a fellow, piper. And I've seen a little bit, when I walked into that store with you guys, that juice store in Indianapolis up there.
Plainfield's where we were at.
Or Plainfield, I seen they had places where you could sit around and vape in there, And I think it would be cool if some of the old school brick and mortars would get into selling the juices too. That way you can have an you know what the word I'm trying to say.
Intermediate.
Yeah, intermediate intermingling, like I smoke pipe. My cousin here, he's a vapor, and we both share different point of views. I think it would be wonderful, to do that.
Well, see, that you're going in the right direction now. There is a tobacco store there in Linton. They sell, cigarettes, tobacco, pipe tobacco, chew, and they also sell vapes and stuff in there, but they don't have a lounge.
That's the thing.
It's also like a convenience store type deal. But that being said, there are places that do sell both of them. Like nowadays, like in your bigger cities, they sell both the juices and they sell, the tobacco. Unless you go into a straight e-cig shop, which is what we went into in Plainfield, or what I go to in Linton. And, your debate on the whole brick and mortar thing, well, why they're considered brick and mortar and they're in the same clause is because by Indiana law, just alone, this wire for these coils right here is considered a tobacco product.
Oh, so it gets into some of the FDA stuff.
Yes.
That's monotonous.
Anything to do with vaping is considered smoking, or basically smoking a cigarette. It goes into that clause. That Indiana has some pretty strict laws on juices and stuff of that nature. That's why it's considered brick and mortar.
Now I understand. Now, I know the way I was sounding was going to sound more prejudiced towards a juice store or a vape store. And, I just have a different outlook on it. I mean, I'd say maybe it could possibly be a form, but to me, I'm solid old school on that. But I think all these old school shops, like I said, for the sake of money, for the sake of them having another way to support, their business, I think they need to combine it all together, That way, not only you supplying the average supply and demand, but the oddball demand as well,
There's another thing I kind of want to get into on this while we're talking about it. The reason why they don't combine them is because by law, in a public place, you're not really supposed to smoke inside. There is no law for that against vaping.
And see, that's the thing too, though. It's like the old BM, brick and mortar stores. Now, the only brick and mortar store I know locally within here that's not a vape is in Bloomington, Indiana, and I want to go there. It's called the Bar and the Burley, and I never would have known about this if Mutton Chop Piper had it been strolling through Indiana I think he was going to the Chicago Pipe Show, as which I would love to go sometime, as well as to the...
there used to be one in Linton, believe it or not. It was a cigar shop.
Yeah, I don't know why it didn't get much business.
Because they sold mostly cigars, and there's not too many cigar smokers that I know of in Linton itself. I know a few guys who smoke cigars, but not enough to keep a straight cigar shop open.
I vaguely remember that now.
It was right there. It's in the exact same place where
It was right beside the grill.
Yeah, it's where your uncle's coin store was at.
Yeah. I vaguely remember that. And see, that's the thing. You know, you just can't sell one thing. You gotta have a variety that appeals to the multitude of the masses. You know,
because on the sign it even said cigars. So, you know, honestly, I don't know too many pipe smokers.
I haven't seen. I seen one guy one time in this area that smoked a pipe, and that was one time going through Lyons, Indiana. There was a dude that used to sit outside by where the post office used to be, I think it is, before they actually built a post office, or maybe it was a barber shop. I can't remember. I remember riding the school bus and every morning seeing that guy out there puffing on a pipe.
And usually, you know, you don't see much of the younger generation smoking pipe nowadays. Usually it's the, no offense to anybody, usually it's the old timers.
Hey.
You're not even that old.
I know. I'm intermediate. But yeah, you know, that's another thing too. I mean, sometimes I think all that also goes back like how I said before. You know, you gotta. Too many people. I mean, it's always good to be health conscious, and I think that's more of a reason why. I mean, now I ain't knocking the vape or anything, so you know, I don't mean for this to come out the wrong way, even though it's going to come out the wrong way, but I don't mean it in that way. But I say that there is a possibility, at least a 35% chance possibility, that, you know, even in a vape, there's just as much risk doing that as it is doing that. Just the risk levels ain't as high because, you know,
well, there is, like I was saying in the beginning, vaping is proven 95% safer by science research, safer than smoking. And I can attest for this because there are controlled experiments. But you know what a controlled experiment is, right?
To where it's a controlled environment to ensure that
they'll have one set here, one set here, and how they'll do this is they'll filter it. They'll take a vacuum pump. They'll put the cigarette in this thing, and they'll hold it there, and they'll put this tube to a piece of cotton to, you know what I'm saying, to kind of filter it.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, from there it'll suck it out the rest of the way, and they'll do that with the vape. Now, how the controlled experiment works is it'll show the effects that your lungs get versus smoking versus vaping. The smoking comes out dirty, nasty, and tarry, where the vaping comes out completely clear.
Now, see, there's also two factors added in though into the pipe smoking, and I've noticed this within just the tobacco world period. You know, without vaping, there is what I would call interracial or interracism, or interprejudicism, I should say, within just the pipe, cigar, and cigarette smoking tobacco communities. Because, hey, adults are talking, kiddo.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Faith, I told you to sit over there. Here, you can continue, and I will be right back.
I can't go! Oh, that's a big one! Hey, look, a Mustang!
Kids, gotta love them.
You gotta go potty?
Oh, Lord. But anyways, there's this controversial thing, you know, to where, and I noticed this, and another guy that I watch, and that started watching me, he often, you know, me and him had a conversation about this on one of my other live chats, about, I told him, I said, you know, I think it's funny that a lot of people want to pick on the pipe smoker and the cigar smoker, saying, haha, welcome to the world of cancer and all this and that, but yet they fail to realize, and be honest with you guys, I used to inhale cigars. This man right here is the reason why I quit inhaling cigars, because he wasn't even a smoker at that point in time. He was barely even a chewer or a dipper, whatever they call it.
Dipper.
You know, I call it worm dirt. But anyhows, you know, you don't inhale pipe smoke, and you definitely don't inhale tobacco smoke. I meant cigar smoke. And there's lots of proven reasons why you shouldn't do it. Now, occasionally, there are sometimes you actually do inhale your pipe sometimes, and there's also some people that inhale it anyways. You know, you got your inhalers and you got your puffers. Man, I'm one of the pipe puffers, you know. And I don't smoke for the inhaling of the smoke because tin tobacco and pipe tobacco, period, has a much higher nicotine content in it that it absorbs in through the pores of your mouth and through nasal cavity and everything. You know, it absorbs. You know, so you don't have to inhale to get the nicotine. You know, but I don't smoke for the nicotine. Matter of fact, I turned to pipe smoking to get away from cigarettes, and I was nervous about doing the vape and everything. And you know, you guys saw in the last video me and him done. You know, I tried the vape, tried it once off camera, tried it once on camera. You know, I just don't think it's for me. Don't mean maybe it wouldn't grow on me later on, but I highly doubt it because I'm satisfied with what I got. I like the hobby and everything. And then with cigars, you know, I ain't smoked a cigar in a good long time since I started, you know, smoking pipe. But, you know, cigars, you don't inhale a cigar. And when I actually got a hold of a real cigar and thought I could impress some buddies, you know, with a real cigar, I found out real quick why you don't inhale a real cigar. Now, your gas station cigars or your really cheap cigars, you know,
Talking about a cigarello.
cigarillos. Now I like black and mild, so I will smoke a black and mild.
Now, see,
But it's made with pipe tobacco.
I like black and milds myself. I like the wine. I like the taste that it has. And it's got a really nice aroma to it.
And see, that's also made with aromatic pipe tobacco.
And when I was, because I smoked and I chewed both. When I did smoke, occasionally I would get a black and mild and kind of puff on it. It actually tasted better than normal tobacco. It didn't taste like crap in my opinion. But I used to get one every now and again, and you know, occasionally when I was drinking, I'd get one because it tastes good going down with a shot of whiskey, shot of vodka, or a can of beer.
Now the two real big downfalls, though, quality rise with the black and mild, is one, it's still made with paper. It's supposed to be made with partial tobacco fiber, but it's still paper. It's not really all that bleached. But I think, and then also, now a lot of people want to say it's actually flavored floor sweepings. But you know what? It might very well be, you know, but that's also the risk you take when you smoke a cigar or a convenience store cigar. Because some of them do have pieces of glass, hair in them. If you ever took them apart, you know, I mean, there's tons of videos out there, people showing you why you shouldn't really smoke a convenience store cigar in that sense. But I've taken about 5 or 6 of the black and milds apart, and I found even long strips of odd-shaped ribbon cut inside of that thing. I think what they really should try, even if it's more expensive, I'd rather pay that extra bit. But I think they need to actually do a real black and mild, real cigar, you know, especially for those who are connoisseurs, you know that fancy word,
Connoisseurs.
yeah, you know, of different flavors of tobaccos, as well as your cigar snobs, you know, and I don't mean that in the derogatory sense, because I mean, some of the flavors people can pull from a cigar, man, you know, to me is like amazing, because some people can get a dark chocolate taste from one. And I only got that one time with one that was called it was like a off brand of, I think, it was either classified to be in the Cuban family or an outstretched branch of the Cuban family, but it was called a Cube Cabana or Cabana.
Cubana.
Yeah, and it was a dark one. It was a little harsh at first, but after the first three initial puffs, I actually started getting somewhat of a rich, bitter cocoa flavor out of it. You know, and that's the last real cigar I really smoked before I started smoking the pipe.
You never explained why you quit inhaling cigars because of me.
Later on, until you was telling me about it, I was still inhaling cigars even after I got a hold of a real premium cigar.
Told you about what? I'm a little confused.
You told this kid was not old enough to smoke at the time, even though he chewed off and on, but he wasn't really a smoker at the time. But he found out I was inhaling my Black and Milds, which I figured it was a Black and Mild, wasn't really classifying much of a cigar, But when he told me that, I quit doing it because he heard about the health risks and everything. He's a smart kid and a smart man, a good father, and a hell of a worker and a good guy. And like I said, sometimes he's a very informed young man. Even, when he was younger. And
inhaling a cigar is about the equivalent of smoking 100 cigarettes.
That's what I was getting at, But he was barely 16 when you told me that, I think.
15 or 16.
Somewhere in there, And I took that into consideration, because I noticed, after I get done smoking one, when I was inhaling, I get this compressed feeling on my chest, and before I learned about what a nick hit was like that, I get that sick, nauseated feeling, and I just thought it was just a beer I was drinking along with it. But, so twice I learned the hard way, of not inhaling a cigar. And the thing that gets me is the only people I know that inhale are cigarette smokers. And, all the time.
And vapors now.
Well, vapors too. I don't know much about the vapors, but I tried inhaling, then I just tried tasting it in my mouth. I think if I could just taste it and not inhale it, I think I could vape, but then I don't know what you would call it in the vaping world,
It's called mouth hitting, which would be... because you close the air holes off. That is with it completely closed and then completely open. See the difference there?
Mm-hmm.
But the only way you get flavor off of one of these is with airflow. So say we take it down to here, it's going to be hot, but no flavor. That's how you get a cooler vape versus having it super hot. That's how you avoid tongue bite for vaping, really.
I would be curious. I really am curious to want to taste that grape, but you already got some that's already soaked and everything, so it'd be a bit of a contaminated taste. But I'm very curious if it would come close to tasting like this Captain Black grape. Like, very seriously curious. I don't want you to waste your juice you got in there, though, dude.
There ain't much in there.
That stuff has an interesting smell to it, too.
Yeah, that's that PET by Humble.
That smells like you make a great potpourri, too. I'd actually be tempted to pour that juice in an instant melter or whatever they call it.
See, the thing is with juice, I never really explained the nicotine contents You can actually overdose on nicotine.
Nicotine poisoning, as which can kill you.
You can overdose on the nicotine in vape juice because if you get it on your fingers.
Now, an interesting fact about nicotine that not too many people know. A lot of your bug sprays that are an organic bug spray, and even your old school bug sprays too. One of the ways to get the bug spray to deter your bugs from wanting to eat on that plant is they actually would use nicotine in that formula. And that's also why when some of that stuff dries, it has that yellowish tint to it, and it looks thick like syrup, is because they actually put nicotine in some of that stuff.
Believe it or not, nicotine is actually an insecticide.
That's what I was just saying, more or less. But it's a natural thing. But just like anything, it's bad. I mean, it's sad that it can cause people to become addicted. And I know somebody right now. I got a friend who she's like so addicted to like the nicotine in her cigarettes that if she goes more than a week or so without a cigarette, she starts getting really bad sick.
Oh, this has got 3 nic in it. Her Betty has 1.5.
Oh,
and the difference in nicotine can actually give you a nicotine buzz.
Even if you don't inhale? I mean, just like,
No, she inhaled it. But this one's a little bit stronger. Why won't it come out? I'll just do this the easy way.
He's going to do it the easy way. He's unscrewing from the chamber there. The juice.
You want me to push you up on?
Hand me a paper towel.
Paper towel. It's like surgery. Forceps. Scalpel. Locking forceps. Now, see, is there another form of cleaning your... I mean, do you have to clean these out regularly like this?
No, you don't have to. But it... Like I was saying, every time I put new juice in, I usually put a new coil in. Well, I'm kind of being cheap this week. This tank originally had this juice in it.
Oh, wow.
But I ran it dry this morning because there wasn't very much in it because my tank got broken. I bought new glass for it today. But I was being cheap and didn't buy new coil because they're $5 a piece. But yeah, this is a tank properly disassembled. The glass comes off there, but it's kind of stuck on there, and I'm not going to pry out and break it because I don't want to have to buy another tank or another glass piece. My bad. But every time I put different juice in my tank, I will take hot water and I will wash out the tank so that way none of the flavors collide with each other, and put a new coil in so I get just the flavor off the juice that I'm using. Which, I mean, you can use the same coil for different juices, but it takes a while for the new juice that you're putting in it to take effect and get the full flavor off of it. Like, it took several puffs to get the flavor of this stuff to come through.
Wow.
But the coil's pre-primed, and I ain't got to go through all that good jazz. Which, if they're interested and they leave feedback, I can do a priming tutorial on my channel.
I think you should. You also have a Facebook, don't you? Or do you want to...
I don't want to go that far.
Alright. Well, eventually you might make a separate FB account, you know, for your channel, you know. That's how some people like promote their stuff or use Twitter.
Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter.
Twitter. I have Instagram, and I've got Snapchat, but I don't do much on my Snapchat. That's more of a personal thing. Because I don't want to have multiple Snapchat accounts, which I do have multiple of them because I forgot my password to my one when I changed phones, so I had to create a new one. Which I've got multiple Facebook accounts because, well, not multiple. I had two because I forgot my password to it.
About how far up would you normally fill that, or that's recommended to fill?
All the way up to the top.
All the way up to the top?
That's just how I do it. There are some people that don't put very much juice in theirs. There's that green vapor band.
Vapor band.
Yeah.
Slip on your fingers.
Where'd it go?
Underneath the chair.
Underneath mine or his? Boy, somewhere somebody's laughing at us. They're like, look at these two idiots. It's Ray.
Okay, found it. Okay, so this is called a vapor band, and why it's called a vapor band is these tanks are made of glass, which you can get them in acrylic, because acrylic is harder to break. It's more of a plastic that's
It's a polymer, more or less.
yeah, it's a polymer that is a bit more heat resistant because these do get hot, just like pipes do. But this, you put this on here on the glass, so that way if it falls over, your glass don't crack. Which my other tank that I have, I didn't have one on there because it's big and bulky, and it's an 8 milliliter tank, and it kind of bulges out the sides. It's not real tall. It's fat, big around, and it fell on its side and it cracked it.
Oh, so it's a safety thing.
Yeah, more or less. It's so you don't break your glass, which is a big pain.
Well, that's cool.
You see that big boy over there?
A big guy.
Juices are mixed.
A big guy.
Yeah. With the beard? That's your cousin. You know it? That's your cousin. And I'm your cousin.
No.
Maybe I'm a great aunt.
No, that's to suck the new juice into the coil.
Yeah, I'm going to wipe that off, man. We might be filming, but it's like a French kiss.
Don't make me laugh while I've got vapor in my lungs. Choke me up.
I don't know if I want to put my mouth on that thing now. Boy, in the wrong place sucking like that, you might just wind up in trouble.
That's a dog.
Yeah, but this whole thing is a Christmas card.
Yeah.
It's Robert's Christmas card.
Yeah.
That's it, Robert.
Okay, all bubbles are gone.
You ought to give it.
So you gotta air it out, huh?
I know.
Yeah.
There's different ways of doing this. That's just my way of doing it. Juice is a little rough at first.
Here's writing somebody's friend. Yeah, it's fresh Bernice.
Oh, that's why I kept hearing that. Where's all that nursery rhyme stuff coming from?
Mommy?
Okay, so I'm gonna leave this open so you get the flavor off of it. So basically,
Show the puppy on the
You wipe your saliva off there?
I did.
Alright.
So literally, you just like you would inhale for pipe. That's how you want to inhale off this, because you can.
Like that.
It smells exactly like that aromatic. Exactly, folks.
You better go give it to Rob.
Kind of feels a little warm.
Give it to Rob.
That when they start getting warm, that's when where you get your vapor production out off those.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, let me see. Did you see that puppy? Hey, you see that puppy? Hey, 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 you see that puppy? Hey, you see that puppy?
Hmm?
Hey, hey.
Yeah, I see that puppy.
Yeah, see that puppy?
Yeah, thank you. Can I have my card? Well, just don't tear it up for me. I say that has not quite as strong, but that has a similar taste to this. Now, if I knew you would finish a bowl of it, I'd ask you if you wanted to load some of that up and try it because it has the same exact taste as that, just about, just much lighter. I'd say if that was a flavor on a aromatic, it would either be just a light topping or a very light aromatic.
That's my friend, Arthur.
I don't think that would be a good idea. I don't have any more dark chocolate at home.
He painted that big picture up there.
You always just take a nap too and sleep it off.
Yeah, because I gotta go to bed when we get home because I gotta work tomorrow.
I could be like that one coach off that one episode of King of the Hill. Take a salt tablet.
Now, I let you smell the Betty. Would you like to try and taste that?
Yeah, why not?
She's looking at the gift. But that one, that guy there, he does.
And this tank has Pinup, or Betty by Pinup.
See, there we are together.
This is one of those juices you're going to want to do a retro hell on regardless. You're not going to get any of the flavor off of it.
That's the one that died, and he's my friend. Yeah. Over there's a picture of his little girl.
Now take you another puff and see if the flavor kind of changes
Over
in
there
on you.
by the clock.
Hey, look over there. That one right there?
There's Rob right there.
Mangoey. Melon and mangoey. With just a light touch of what I would maybe say just a little bit of
Sister up there.
a light.
The big picture.
There's pineapple in there too.
I say it tastes like I couldn't really pinpoint the citrusy. Mango is the flavor that punches you in the face.
Hey, just
Then you get the citrusy.
Hey, just
And that was
Oh, thank you.
But like that juice in particular, if you're constantly vaping on that, it changes. Like the hit you and the smack you in the face flavors change.
Hey, look, Daddy. Look, Daddy.
You also get a hint of like a strawberry too, like a very light strawberry.
It's mixed. Literally, I looked up the flavor profile on it. It says mixed fruit, so it could have just about any fruit you could think of in there that's popular. And like I said, is the more you vape on it, the more the flavor kind of changes. It's like a mystery of what they got in there.
Now, don't break that. That's not yours. That's not yours. Don't break it.
I'm still getting mainly like it's going back and forth in between like a light strawberry with a mango, or like a mango with a decadent of pineapple, just a light enough pineapple, but also like a blueberry or like a raspberry-ish, like it.
Now,
Hey,
you can do the same exact inhale on this as you did with those. This is the Peewee Kiwi. If you would want to try it.
It has the same. I'll try.
I'll turn the airflow down a little bit more for you. One of those ones where you let the vapor kind of touch your tongue.
That's purple.
Alright.
Hey, I'm up here.
What?
I'm up here.
Gotta ask your daddy.
Daddy, I'm up here.
Alright, let's try this. Alright, you actually gotta, like,
See? That won't work. Hey. That won't work.
I think I like the other one better. I'd classify it to be a super light one.
Well, see, it doesn't taste the same in this tank, per se, as it would in this tank. It's gonna have a different flavor. There are flavors, like, okay, there's this one that I had not too long ago. It's called Nerdy Get Laid, like L-E-I-D. It was a pineapple coconut. So you do it in a sub-ohm tank, which is what this is, and it tasted like pineapple coconut. But you do it on something like this, it had a cream flavor to it. So it was like creamy. So it tasted like a pineapple coconut cream versus just tasting like pineapple coconut. A little bit of a sweeter flavor to it. I didn't much care for it myself, but that's the flavors I got off of it.
I'm trying to keep you from falling off, kiddo. Okay, but if you fall, smack your head, get hurt, I don't want to hear you cry. Oh, so now you're smarting up.
But this is more along the lines of something you'd see a veteran vapor use. I've been vaping for quite a while, and that's why I have one. Because I know battery safety, I know my coils and my ohms, so...
What is that picture? What is that picture? That your phone?
Well, guys, I think we've run this up long enough, and I'm sure you get tired of seeing my ugly face. But, anyways, I think we're going to call it a night on the videos. Kiddos, you want to say anything to YouTube?
Can I hold it?
Sure.
One phone, okay?
Oh. Want to say hello to YouTube?
No, don't. Not that.
Alright. Say hello.
No.
No? Here's my keys. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you for tuning in and putting up with us crazy people. And until next time, wherever you're at in this world, may you be blessed. Anything you want to add? No? Well, everybody, look out for his channel and the videos he's going to post. And until next time, we'll see you.